Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about robots.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but not just AI robots. Uh, we're diving deep into the world of Atlas. Have you heard about it?
I have, yeah. Isn't that the one from Boston Dynamics?
That's the one. The humanoid robot that's been kind of blowing up the internet with its abilities.
The videos are pretty impressive, right?
Definitely. I mean, forget those Roombas that bump around your house. Atlas is something else.
For sure. Like way more advanced.
Okay, so let's get down to it. What makes Atlas so special? I mean, I've seen the videos. This thing can move like a gymnast.
Well, a lot of things set it apart, but one of the key things is that it's completely electric now.
Oh, wow. So, like, no more clunky hydraulics.
Exactly. And that's a big deal because it means Atlas is way more agile and flexible than its predecessors.
I can imagine. So it's not just about being strong. It's got to be nimble, too.
Right. Imagine trying to, dance in a suit of armor versus wearing a lightweight performance outfit. That's the kind of freedom Atlas has with this all-electric design.
That's a great analogy. So it can handle obstacles and real-world environments much better.
Oh, yeah. Think about a disaster zone, for instance. All that agility means Atlas could potentially maneuver through debris and uneven terrain way more effectively than those older, clunkier robots.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So it could be super valuable in, like, search and rescue operations.
Exactly.
Wow. But it's not just a graceful giant, though, right? I mean, this thing has some serious brain power, too.
Absolutely. It's equipped with artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Hold on. Break that down for me. How does this machine learning thing work? Is it like teaching a dog new tricks?
It's a similar concept, but obviously way more complex.
Yeah, I figured.
Imagine trying to teach Alice to identify different types of tools. So you show it examples of wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, you know the deal.
Yeah.
Got it. So each time it sees a new tool, its AI algorithms analyze the image. And it learns to recognize those patterns, those features that distinguish one tool from another.
So the more it sees, the smarter it gets.
Yeah, basically. And the better it becomes at identifying those tools, even if they're in different positions or lighting conditions.
Whoa, that's pretty wild. So it's not just following a script. It's actually like processing information and getting better over time.
Exactly. And that's why the shift from hydraulics to electric is so significant. It needs a lot of processing power, which electric systems can handle way better.
Ah, so it's like the electric power unlocked its true potential. Not just moving better, but thinking better, too.
Exactly. This combo of agility and AI opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Okay, so we've got this agile AI-powered robot. But what can it actually do in the real world? Like what kind of jobs?
Well, we know it can perform some pretty impressive physical feats, like it can lift heavy objects, navigate complex environments, and yeah, even do parkour.
Wait, those videos of Atlas doing backflips and jumping over obstacles, that wasn't just for show.
No, those were actual demonstrations of what it can do.
Okay, so it's not just a show-off. It's got skills.
Definitely. Those videos were demonstrating the level of control and balance the engineers have achieved.
That's incredible. So besides the cool stunts, what practical jobs could Atlas do?
Well, companies like Hyundai and Toyota are actually exploring that right now. They're looking at how Atlas could be used in automotive manufacturing.
So like on the factory floor.
Yeah, potentially. Think assisting with assembling parts, moving heavy materials, or even performing inspections.
That's fascinating. So instead of replacing human workers, it's more about working together, right?
Exactly. It's all about collaboration. Atlas could handle the more physically demanding or repetitive tasks, freeing up humans to focus on the specialized or creative parts of their jobs.
I like that, like having a super strong, super smart coworker.
Pretty much.
Okay, so how would that even work in practice? Can Atlas really learn to do those complex tasks in a real-world factory setting?
That's where its machine learning comes in. Say you wanted Atlas to, I don't know, help assemble a car door. It wouldn't need to be programmed for every single step. Instead, it could learn by observing human workers, analyzing data from cameras and sensors.
So it's constantly learning and refining its skills, like an apprentice.
Exactly. And as it gains more experience, it could even start to identify potential problems or inefficiencies, maybe even offer suggestions for improvement.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just following instructions, it's actively learning and contributing to the team.
You got it.
So are we talking about replacing jobs? What happens to the people who are currently doing those jobs? Those jobs that are, kind of boring, dirty, and dangerous.
That's a crucial question. As robots like Atlas get more capable, we need to think about the impact on the workforce, but it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game.
Good point.
It's not just about replacing humans with robots. It's about finding ways for them to work together, leveraging each other's strengths.
Right, like finding that balance where robots can help us and create new opportunities instead of just taking over existing jobs.
Exactly. And that's a discussion we can dive into further as we go along.
Okay, I'm all for that. Let's keep going.
All right. So, it's funny. We often think about robots working in factories, doing those repetitive tasks.
Yeah, like on an assembly line.
Right. Exactly. But Atlas is kind of challenging those ideas.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen it doing all sorts of things like jumping, balancing, even that parkour stuff.
Yeah, parkour.
So it's definitely not limited to just those like typical factory settings.
Definitely not.
So where else could we see this kind of, advanced robotics being applied?
Well, think about those places that are just way too dangerous, or difficult for humans to access.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Like hazardous environments.
Hmm.
Think nuclear power plants or deep sea exploration.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Atlas could be sent in to do those inspections, repairs, or even collect data.
Yeah, like a robotic explorer going where we can.
Right, exactly.
Now that you mention it, I remember seeing the video, I think it was Atlas, walking over all this uneven terrain.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like it was like hiking.
Yeah.
It didn't even seem to care about all the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about it, that ability to just navigate all those like challenging environments. Think about a search and rescue mission after like an earthquake.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Atlas could climb through all that rubble, identify survivors, and even relay information back to those rescue teams.
It'd be like a robotic first responder.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. But I gotta say, all this, like, autonomy and decision-making,
Yeah.
it is a little, unnerving. Like, are we giving robots too much control?
It's a totally valid concern. And honestly, it's one that researchers and ethicists are always thinking about,
Yeah, I bet.
As we develop AI, it's got to be, like top priority to build in those safeguards and ethical considerations.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we got to make sure these machines are operating within like human control and, align with our values and stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's not just about the tech itself, but how we use it, right?
Exactly. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for, good or bad.
Right.
It's our responsibility to make sure robots like Atlas are developed and used in a way that like benefits everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's switch gears for a second. We've talked a lot about what Atlas can do now.
Yeah.
What about the future? What are researchers working on that could make Atlas even more remarkable?
Well, one of the main areas is like improving its dexterity.
Like dexterity.
Yeah, and its fine motor skills.
Right.
Right now, Atlas is great at those big movements like walking and jumping. But what if it could also handle those delicate tasks?
Okay, so you're saying instead of moving heavy boxes, it could like handle delicate instruments.
Yeah.
Or assemble tiny components.
Exactly. Imagine Atlas like assisting in surgery. It could be making these super precise movements with surgical tools.
Oh, okay.
Or picture it working in electronics, assembling those microscopic parts,
Yeah, those are some pretty mind-blowing scenarios.
Yeah.
But how do you even begin to like teach a robot to do something as delicate as surgery?
It involves a ton of advanced programming, machine learning algorithms, and a lot of data.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about Atlas learning to identify tools?
Yeah.
It's similar. It would be trained on huge data sets of surgical procedures, learning to recognize all the anatomical structures, predicting movements and doing tasks with insane precision.
So it's not just programming specific movements, it's teaching it to understand the context.
Exactly. It's moving beyond mimicking to actually understanding the, intent.
That's crazy. It really does seem like science fiction is becoming reality.
It really is. And as we keep pushing the boundaries of what robots can do, it's important to remember that this tech can totally transform our lives,
Oh, yeah.
From how we work to how we explore to, how we care for our health. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah. Okay, but before we get too carried away with the future, I want to bring it back to the present.
Okay, yeah.
What are the most, immediate applications for Atlas? What can we expect to see in the near future?
Well, like we mentioned earlier, companies like Hyundai and Toyota are already figuring out how to use Atlas.
Right.
We can expect to see it in, factories and warehouses
Right.
doing those tasks that are risky for humans or just super repetitive,
Yeah. Like lifting heavy stuff or working with dangerous materials.
Yeah, things like that. But it's not just about replacing people, it's about figuring out how robots and humans can work best together.
Right, so it's not humans versus robots. It's more like humans and robots.
Exactly. And as robots like Atlas become more common in our workplaces, it's important to remember we're all in this together.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about figuring out how to use the strengths of both humans and D machines to make things better for everyone.
That's a great point. So it's not about being afraid of the robots. It's about using them to make things better. Well, I think we covered a lot today. We talked about Atlas's abilities, the ethics of all this, and even, a little glimpse into the future of humans and robots working together.
Yeah, it's been a pretty awesome journey so far.
For sure. And now I want to shift gears a little bit to something I think a lot of our listeners are wondering about.
Okay.
So we've talked about all the cool stuff Atlas can do, the agility, the AI, even the potential for revolutionizing industries. But let's be honest, the thing that really caught everyone's eye was those parkour videos.
Oh, absolutely. Those videos went viral for a reason. It's not every day you see a robot doing backflips and jumping over stuff. It's nothing.
It's like, whoa, is this real life?
Right. And it makes you wonder, if it can already do that, what's next? What are the limits?
Yeah, what can't it do?
Well, it's tough to say for sure, but one thing's for certain.
Mm.
Things are moving fast in the world of robotics. Really fast.
So where do you think we'll see the biggest changes in the coming years? What are researchers really focused on?
I think one of the most exciting areas is AI, even more sophisticated artificial intelligence.
So Atlas is already impressive, but its AI could be even better.
Yeah, think about it. Right now, AI is still pretty narrow. It can learn specific tasks, but it doesn't have that general intelligence that we humans have.
So you're talking about robots that can not only do things, but actually understand what they're doing.
Exactly. Imagine a robot that could not only build a car, but also, understand the engineering behind it.
Oh, wow.
It could troubleshoot problems or even suggest design improvements.
Okay, that's pretty next level, but is that kind of AI even possible?
Well, we're not quite there yet, but researchers are making progress every single day. They're developing new algorithms, neural networks, all sorts of crazy stuff.
So it's not IF, but when we'll see robots with that kind of intelligence?
That's what I think. And when it happens, it's going to be huge. It's not just about robots doing jobs. It's about them working with us, helping us solve problems we haven't even thought of yet.
It's like having a super smart partner.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting. It's like we're on the edge of something really, really big.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Atlas, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I'd say approach this new world of robotics with a sense of, curiosity and optimism, but also with responsibility. There are challenges, sure, but the opportunities are incredible.
It's about being aware of the potential downsides, but also being excited about what we can achieve.
Exactly. And that's something we can all be a part of.
I like that. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into the world of Atlas. Hopefully you've enjoyed the journey and maybe learned a thing or two about the future of robotics. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.